Good.
Good.
Crazy background you've got going on. I like it.
Everyone's got offices.
Okay. The live cast is up and running as well, by the way, guys.
So it's running on YouTube, not before.
Yeah, I'll give you the link. Just set it up. There we go. Basically, I'm mirroring what you're seeing here on there. So hopefully it works. Last time I realized our voice didn't carry through the laptop, so that's a lesson learned for the next time.
Yeah, I believe Teams.
On retrospect, I was thinking actually I could have signed into YouTube from the main computer in the room. That would have actually have been much better way of doing it. But anyways, we're learning.
Yeah, the Teams video recording should have all your audio and transcript as well.
Okay. All right, nice one. We'll share it here.
Yeah. Trinity's working on getting all those videos folders or uploaded shortly.
Lovely. So I think we are 6 of us. Are we expecting anyone else? Should we probably give it a while or kick off? I think I will check with Rodrigo as well if he is joining us. I guess so. Shall we just Mehmet? Sorry, I think I am not sure if I said hello to you last time or I met, but I think Benz has been mentioning about you. So good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to meet you as well. Sorry, I didn't get a chance to. I was kind of in and out. Had to do some other bits around the event off-site. So unfortunately, I had to leave.
Okay. I think we've got Rodrigo in the lobby. Is he in now? Yeah, he's in now. He's in at the moment. Hello. So maybe we kick off then. Benz, would you do the favors?
Yeah. Just wanted to share the YouTube link on Discord.
Sure.
If that's okay. Yeah, one sec. Just 1 second. Yeah.
Forgive the background. I don't seem to be able to change the background on YouTube. So we'll have to do with that.
I'm looking for the channel.
Whilst you do that, I guess just to socialize with the audience, I guess would love to hear from Oscar, Mehmet, Rodrigo, Srinidhi. Perhaps obviously we've got a couple of hours now, but we have a view in mind. We kind of got an open agenda. One is we were thinking of actually showing in action what we talked about on Wednesday. Perhaps this is also an opportunity for us to hear from yourselves. Obviously, I think, Oscar, we spoke about you wanted to take a stab at some of the ideas, and Rodrigo as well, you have done, and you wanted to share. Perhaps maybe we start with that because that's a logical flow, and you show us how the last few hours, 24 hours, 36 hours went for you. What have you done? Kind of a show and tell. Maybe we can have the first 30 minutes, 45 minutes on that. And then we can therefore build on something that is relevant for you. given that we are a small audience, we have that opportunity here to do that.
Yeah, I totally appreciate that. I got 2 students into a team with myself, and they were building it out based on my direction and guidance. So unfortunately, they've got it on the system, so I won't be able to demonstrate anything. However, we were very interested in one of the challenges within your hackathon document that really caught our eye, and that's what we started working on, which is more about the personal training or personal plan bot that students or anyone else could use for their personal academic or knowledge upskilling. So that was the one that caught our attention. That's what we wanted to build upon.
I'm not sure about the others, but you did break up on my side. Could you please repeat the last bit?
Yeah, we were more interested in building the bot that can work with personal planning and training aspects. That was the one that really caught our attention. The rest are all great as well, but it's very relative to something we're trying to solve now. So we wanted to work on that.
Okay.
I can share something if you guys want.
Yeah, let's do that, Rodrigo. We're ready to see what you have produced.
Yeah, sure.
We are recording this session, right, in Teams as well?
It is recording, yeah, it's on the
lovely.
top left.
Shuffle things around 1 second.
So whilst you do, Rodrigo, no rush, we got time. So I guess till from 2 onwards, 2 to 15, we will actually go down into, I'm thinking like, before I do that, so Oscar, like, did you, so you had some of your students do some of the work, right? Have you explored at all about some of the tooling that we mentioned or the videos that we showed on the hackathon document?
No, due to the event admin aspect, I've not had a proper chance to engage.
That's fine. We just setting kind of. And Mehmet, like, you know, what is your expectation from this session?
To be honest, I'm more just observing the situation and what kind of stuff that you can benefit us with what we're building in the background. Like Oscar mentioned, we're trying to make a unique AI bot which has to do quite a few different things, and it's got quite a big remit. Okay. So we're still exploring how and what you guys can do for us.
We will do that actually then as the basis. What I would like you to do, whilst Rodrigo shares what he's doing, if you have anything that is written or anything that can you organize the material on your laptop? Do you have cursor by any chance, or do you use cursor? Have you used that before? You have. So could you get a cursor instance up and running on your laptops? Get your requirements documents. So basically go to an area, create a location, project location, and give whatever name you want to that. And in a subfolder saying requirements, just dump what your requirements are, preferably in a .md format, if you know what that is. Basically, just do that. Let's listen to Rodrigo. Once you have that in place, then we will start from basics. So we'll go through the journey together. Okay, Rodrigo, over to you.
Thank you. So my fundamental problem is that here for in a startup in Africa, I created this very complex financial model that does everything.
Just remember, Rodrigo, this is also being live cast. So if there's anything confidential, just don't stick too much around there. Yeah, just highlighting that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, that's not going so fast. So my question is, can I do this better? Right? Can I write code just to query this? Right? Because I have some questions from financiers in lending and equities who came with the need for more details. So I thought, okay, I'll throw this into a cursor that I never used, got a cursor account, and I began. And so the first thing that I realized was, sorry, this version no longer has Spark because it got very confused. Again, this is too complex. So what I said is I began a process of uploading the original file, and I broke it into smaller CSVs. And from the smaller CSVs, before that, sorry, I generally like to do a very structured approach with data. My process, the Python code is here, the output. I have ADRs, architectural decision records. I want to know what we are doing as a planning, execution logs, how we're going to execute. I can show some of those in detail. And if there's anything that's critical, I call it FOD. So let me see if I show you some of this. So I have an FOD here that is saying I need to complete all the key questions, and I'm going to measure it. I have an ADR about converting Excel to CSVs, and another one about the questions and the quality and how it has to be managed. And then I began. So I said the data was very ugly. So the first process was, can I convert this into numbers? And a few iterations, the code was just not doing the work until I finally got that. And then I started to do questions, right? So the questions that I have are, see, for example, how are you calculating your revenue, or questions. For example, number of devices,
So
number of
Rodrigo,
customers.
Just, once do we go there? I mean, just for the benefit of, I think I have the benefit of having spoken to you on some of the context before, right? But I guess for the benefit of the audience, may I summarize, I think, where you were doing, and you can correct, and then we can go into specifics, right? I think, Rodrigo, you had been set a challenge by some people in the private equity space to do
but this is not that one. This is not that one.
This is not that one. So this is
no, I trimmed it down because I cannot show that one. Sorry, I cannot.
You can't. Okay. So this is basically goes back to your previous startup where you had built a very complex financial model, right?
Yeah.
And I guess what you're trying to do is that, and you spend lots of time and effort building that model. What you have tried, if I'm correct so far, you have tried to see if you could use some of the agentic approaches to have made it much more efficient. Is that a problem statement that you have been attempting?
I'm not there yet. My first question is, can I read the financial model? Just that.
Okay.
Just that. Because it becomes terribly complex just because in Excel we try to do things pretty. We put columns and colors and empty, and it's not data.
So we can try that today. Actually, we have the opportunity of maybe we can get started with that as one of the other items. May I request you? So just to summarize it. So where is your frame? So you have an Excel document where you have lots of columns, tables, tabs, etc., right?
Yeah, but I finished. Just to be clear, I've done it, right? Like I'm done.
Oh, you completed it. Oh, all right.
Yeah,
I misunderstood.
Done.
Carry on. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So my first question was, can I read the financial model that I have? And the answer was no. Excel kaput. So what do I do? Okay, break it into CSVs. I broke into CSVs. Can I use it there? No, neither. Because again, it was designed in pretty Excel formats where we humans make columns and rows that are useless, and a machine get confused. So I had to process the data, and I ended with these files that are now readable and functional. It's not a fiction. They have the right information in the right place. So rows with an item, columns with a month. That's it.
Okay. Can I have two suggestions?
Please.
It's just an assumption, so it's not a working method. But one is, the Claude Sonnet is very visual. So I will start experimenting with taking screenshots of the Excel and add it to the cursor folder or upload it to Claude, it's the same model. So you can use Claude.ai with Sonnet, or you can use Insight Cursor and switch to Sonnet as a model. There is no real difference, and see whether visually it's understood better. The other one is zooming a little bit out and ask a plan from Insight Cursor, or it can be ChatGPT or Claude.ai. But how would they approach, the agentic framework approach this problem? So I'm, explaining the context, explaining the situation that you have this Excel spreadsheet. You can connect your Google account and Google spreadsheet account with Claude, both with Claude and ChatGPT, and then get an investigation around the topic. And once you have the plan, you can start thinking whether it's the best way to convert all the sheets to CSV or not. So that would my first assumption be.
So thanks, Vince. Actually, I did it, and it failed. And so I got fed up of the loops and not being able of doing it. So the coup d'etat.
Let's do it. Rodrigo, let's do this. Let's do it now one more time. So what would you like to create a fresh instance? Do you have, let's start with, if you're comfortable with VS Studio, that's fine. If not, do you have Cursor?
This is Cursor.
This is Cursor.
Oh, okay, this is Cursor. Then could you create a new, it does say it looks different on Windows for me. Could you create a new instance of it, right? And just get your initial data in there. And then I guess we will switch gear quickly to Oscar on his bed. Once you have organized, we'll come back to yours and we will run it together.
Okay.
Would that work? So just follow what Ben has mentioned there, and we'll do it together. Do you have the deep research option mode there in your .ru modes?
Again, this is the first time I use Cursor.
Okay. Let me.
So I just downloaded it.
Not a problem. That's okay. Let me just show you something very quickly, and then I think that should help set some context here. I'm doing that now, and I think this will be helpful for. I know some others have joined us just now. We have 10 people now, so I guess welcome. We are initially going through kind of a show and tell of what people may have attempted around the hackathon. So if anyone has anything to show and tell or any questions, just put it on the chat, and then we will come around to you. And we are hoping to do a proper, I mean, we have an open mind, but we might do a proper step-by-step workshop through what you have done over the next hour and a half or so. Okay, let me open something and share my screen. Sorry about that. Ideas. There we go. And I'm going to share my screen, which is over here. My laptop seems to have gone rather slow. Can you see the hackathon screen? Just to confirm.
I just see the black screen at the moment.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mm.
Not sure what's going on here. I will try again. I'll stop sharing and try and share again. Otherwise, Benz, if you do have the hackathon screen, if it's working for you, maybe on my side the network is not great. I will try again now.
If not, I can show.
Yeah. It's not loading, right? Something's wrong on my laptop or whatever. I can't see. Oh, it's loaded up now. Oh, lovely. Is that your screen, Benz?
Yeah, it's mine. Yeah.
If you could kindly scroll down. I guess where I'm in is Spark methodology, right? So there are some commands. So once you have set up if you haven't done this already, could you perhaps just installs basic create Spark, and there's a post there on your project folder. If you set that up, yeah, and then you have to do a / force, I think, at the end. There are some instructions on that link, and also there are some other commands for Claude Flow, yeah, over there, which you might just want to install. Okay, we can start perhaps with Oscar yourself. Oscar, do you have your bits in place now?
Not yet. I'm just making the last edits to it right
Okay.
now. I need a few more minutes.
We can give some time then. I will also set it up on my laptop as a fresh screen.
Yeah. I'm just running that through Claude at the moment, prepping the stack code on that. So
Claude's better. Yeah, Claude's better if you know how to do that. Yeah, we can use Claude Flow then if you're familiar with Claude.
No, I'm good with. I actually need to learn Cursor, so if you stick to Cursor, I'd be even more grateful.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, Ready? Modi, can we confirm if these extensions, these extended plugins here are required to continue?
Yeah. I'm going to share it now, how it looks on mine. So you can see cursor and VS Code next to each other. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
I've got, I go here into the plugins and type root. This is VS Code, and I do the same in cursor. Root. Hopefully,
yep.
Find. Interesting. It's not connecting to the Microsoft Marketplace. Anyway, it's already here on mine. So,
okay. Modi, I'm getting an issue here as well. Could you potentially run through the demo at your end, knowing what we're trying to create with?
I can do that.
Just to save time.
Yeah, if you have the documents, could you perhaps put it on a Google Drive somewhere and share me the link so I can access the documents that you have? I will meanwhile see. My laptop, unfortunately, is going. I might have to restart, but we'll see. If it goes too bad, I'll have to restart.
Can you see mine still?
I can see yours, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So this is the one. In any case, Windsurf, Cursor, or VS Code, you will see a requesty button here. Once you have this plugin installed, which is root code, and you can get an API key very easily with just one click, and you get a $1 free credit to start with. So this is the basics you have to do. Of course, then you have to top up on the requesty side, which is this one. Here they say $6 free credit. So it's I'm not sure about the deals. Depending on the country you are, these free credits can be different. So that's the basic first step. Without this, you can't start anything. So you need a key, and then you have to select the right model, which is Sonnet, which you can see here. The model, Claude Sonnet, and the latest date is the latest version, and you can see 3 green ticks. This supports image, computer use, and prompt caching, and you see the prices, which are much cheaper than the official price. because request is doing an optimization. So this is just a technical background. That's why many people love Requesty, because you can save 70%.
Yeah.
So these are just little things to keep in mind. And once you know, you need to do it only once. So the beginning might be a little bit fiddly, depending on Windows and Mac. On Windows, usually you have even more settings to do. But once it's running, it's very, very quick workflow.
Okay, whilst we wait for Oscar to create the stuff, does anyone have any other comments, questions before we kick off? No? Okay, that's good.
I'm gonna try to install a few things and everything's gone on hold here. So
that's okay. That's okay. Whilst you do that, I am probably share my screen. I am basically starting from scratch, so I don't have anything previously set up. You'll see as I go along. Unfortunately, my laptop hasn't gone a bit crazy today, so my apologies for that.
It can be the heat as well, because I got the error messages about the temperature.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, it's kind of unusually it is bad at the moment. So let me go back and see how best I can do. So sharing my screen now. So we're basically going from basics at the moment. There we go. Hopefully you can see this time my screen load up. I am also seeing on the screen.
Yeah,
we can see now.
You can, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
What I've just done first is effectively just run this command here, as you can see. So I created an Agentics 2.1 version. I'll just run this command here. npx creates /park init, right? This is basically putting in rules, original specifications, pseudocode, architecture, refinement, completion framework. And it's created a host of files here within this folder. So if I do an ls here now, you see what happened. So it's created somewhere outside. I know why. This is a bug. I just need to move it. It shows it here, but it is obviously created in the main folder, not in here. So I'll let you pull that folder here. So just give me a second. I will have to stop here because I might have something, stuff I can't share with you. So just move it across. Give me a second. Doing it now. And then if you go here in this format, as in this, it's easier. And then the extra, and there we go. I can see that now. On read. And there we go. And this one I said Agentics. Okay. Why did I not see that? Second, the extra Agentics. Is the name? Yeah, I know. So this, I need to pull it into my main folder, which is, it may break it. If it breaks, we'll just redo it. Okay. I do that now. Change the directory. Get the extra. Okay, I'm just going to redo this one because and I'm going to share my screen once I've got the right setup in front of me. New window, open folder. Let me share my screen as I do it. Okay, hopefully you can see my screen now. Or it will show, yes. You will see it. Okay, and then we need to. Okay, I'm just going to do it completely new here now. So we got that. And let the terminal load up. Don't need ChatGPT. We don't need that. Just going to get rid of that. It's taking a bit longer. So we've got nothing there. All I'm going to do is I think it's just in it.
Maybe a few words about RU default modes on VIP if you want.
Yeah.
To introduce.
Go for it.
No, it's if it's working on yours, can you just show it quickly then?
Yeah.
When you install RU, you've got a factory setting.
Correct. So
and it's already working quite well.
it is, but for some reason it's not detecting in my folder. So I need to fix what's going on, but something may have changed in the package. It wasn't like this before. But what this has done is basically, as Benz was saying, it's created a set of agents for us. So like the agents, there's an architect here, there is a coder here, and they basically have been given some definition about what they do. So for example, an architect is someone who designs scalable, secure, modular architectures that's based on functional specs and user needs. So you, in natural language, you're saying you define responsibilities across services, APIs, components. Now, this is a standard definition. If you want the architect to do something slightly different, this is the place to kind of for you to specify what different you want. But for most purposes, this is the starting point for me, at least, for anything I'm trialing. Custom instructions, like this is an instruction to say, okay, a role is this, but you can create mermaid diagrams. So if you're familiar with mermaid diagrams, data flows, integration points, you should ensure that no parts of the designs are hard-coded, so security is paramount, modular design, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to read all of it, but you will have similar definitions for a coder, for a tester, as well as debuggers, security reviews. For example, you perform static and dynamic audits to ensure secure code practices, etc., etc. No file should be more than 500 lines, etc. I mean, keep things decoupled. So there are instructions given to that particular agent, and so on and so forth. There are quite a lot here. One of the bits that is quite relevant is the deep researcher, which is not there in the standard package. So you will see here called a deep researcher. But if I go to cursor here, you will find this in GitHub. All of these definitions. We can share with you the bits. But I find this quite interesting. This particular one. Unfortunately, cursor doesn't have the best ability to view it. But all it is if I create a new file here, just to show what I mean, test.md. And I paste that here. This is the definition of that researcher, deep researchers. Ideally, it uses Perplexity's MCP server, but effectively it's been a structure to say, if you're given a topic, research in this following way. Ask queries basically about what is the scope. So for example, the reason I said, Oscar, please just create your stuff in the input folder, because you're going to feed it to this guy here, and they will say, look at what do you really mean? What's your scope? What are the questions that are possible from your scope? Basically, do you want it to go out into the internet and do some research about what you are actually saying, collect the data around it, and then it's going to report the primary findings and the secondary findings, provide some insights from different perspectives to think about the 7-hat or 5-hat thinking. So and so forth. So it's going to create a research output in this format with the right references, recommendations, and an executive summary. So this then forms the basis of what you want to create from here on. Let me just pause here, just to make some sense check if if it's getting across. Any questions that are coming up at this point?
I have a question. You need a MCP subscription. Sorry, Perplexity subscription for the deep research.
Yes and no, because what I generally would do is that I will use the same definition, but I use it in Cursor. And in Cursor, because I have the subscription, the $20 subscription, and it's for those who are just starting out, right? I would generally stick to the agent mode here.
Tools and terminal tools. dangerous. Let's give permissions.
Robert, you're saying something?
I'm not muted.
No.
No.
Just for a while. So we
My apologies.
no worries.
No
no worries.
problem.
I'm prepping for today's live event, and there's a little post that I was making I thought was funny. I apologize, gentlemen.
No, that's
Nice to
okay.
meet you.
That's okay. So, yes, Benz, you would ideally need that subscription, but you could have the MCP server. I'm just wondering if people here are familiar with MCPs.
Briefly, yeah.
Yeah. So I just don't want to overwhelm everyone with this. So I'll probably keep it simple for now. And if it is too simple, also please let us know so we can. Well, please feedback. So it's. But let's start with something completely different. So in fact, you know what? Let's just start with something. Just think of an idea. What do we do today? Can you give me some ideas? Like what should we build today?
Maybe Rodrigo's use case could be used.
Okay. So Rodrigo, shall we use your use case?
Yeah, I'm sharing the repo with you. Just give me 1 minute.
No,
I'll do
I
it
just
now.
need your. Okay, you can do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's empty. So
How do
What
I
about
access it?
the actual Mandeep? What about the actual personalized learning path generator itself that was on the hackathon briefing?
Oh yeah, let's do
If
that.
that's
Let's do
feasible.
that. Very good idea. Thank you for that. Let's do that. Let's just pick from the hackathon document itself. That'll be ideal, right? So we're talking about. Help me understand which one you're referring to.
It's where is it? Dynamic. No, next section down. Hyper personalized AI agent.
This one, right?
That
So
one
we're
that
gonna
I
build this,
highlighted.
right? Okay. All right. Let's do that. We're gonna pick this up, right?
Personalized path generator.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick this up. I'm gonna say I am going to do here one thing is number one. I'm just gonna say a requirement.md, right? And I'm gonna just paste that here. So just let's read through it. Have we captured the requirements correctly? So is that correct? So this is the concept, right? So we don't need this build concept. Okay. A highly specific and useful AI agent that solves single, well-defined problem for a user, right? The key is to move beyond generic chatbots and create practical, personalized automation. Okay, so here are some examples we're giving. Okay, let's start with this. That's good. So in fact, I will not go to agents directly. I want to show you deep research first. So I want to say is that I have some requirement in requirement.md, perform deep research on it, make sure to follow the instructions you have been given. You know, the instructions are basically, you know, that blob I showed you earlier on. So I'm asking you to follow that, right? Do not code or build anything yet. I just want you to research. Once you research, I will ask the other agent to build it. We are doing it very sequentially here, right? So we are not doing anything. So it's already generating, right? So let's watch what happens. So obviously this is nothing new for you. You may have seen most of this anyways, but effectively I'm using Claude for Sonnet here. That's my model I'm using through my subscription. So it's going to conduct a comprehensive research on this. It's looking through the current directory of what is there. So there was just one file, right? It's creating the folder, you see. You remember I said there's a structure that you have to follow. So it's creating the structure research, 01 queries, collection, etc., etc. Hopefully we should see the folder form shortly. I'm not yet seeing it, but I expect to see the folder structure form here. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's let it run. Let's let it run. ls, has it created? Yeah, it's still not created. So I'm wondering where it has created. We'll figure out. Take a while. So because if I have a doubt, like, you know, exactly where are you creating this? I can't see anything here. So I'm going to do Control C. But in fact, I'm going to do this. And I can interrupt it at any point in time. So I'm going to do this, right? Oh, yeah, there you see. It's created fine. I was worried. What happened to it? Yeah. So you see, it's going on. I mean, I have to accept the file. So I have the opportunity of clicking here and now seeing like, okay, it's done some kind of scope definition. What has it done? Well, that the research objective. So on 3 specific use cases, that's the overview, right? 3 AI concepts. Okay, right, fine. 30 minutes before meetings, you want to look at users' calendars and prepare a briefing summary. Okay, what features do I need? I need that. I need this. Okay. Then it's like basically that's the features it's going to build. So it's just thinking about from the scope point of view. For the personalized learning path generator, similarly, week by week learning syllabi of your basically goals and your clarifying questions. Well, we're going to get these features created. Curriculum development, right, etc., etc. And guys, please interrupt me, right? If there's any questions you have got, I'm going off the tangent. Please pull me back in, right? Then this is vacation. Vacation mode email handler that manages emails during vacation period through intelligent categorization, automated responses. Scans your emails, urgency, etc. Forwards anything that is critical. Basically, other stuff. So there are lots of. I'm going to go all of it. Then it's asking key questions. And by the way, this all you are seeing is Roof's framework, right? So Roof kind of created the scaffolding of those room modes that I showed you. So and this could be you as well. If you have a different way of doing business, you can write that way down. So there are only 2 things that are important. One is basically the thing that skills, I don't need to know how to code. We need to know a little bit, but not entirely. But what's important is the thinking. So for example, in this instance, in creating those mode files, Roo, what happened here? It's there. So Roo had done the thinking to say, this is how we're going to proceed. So you could have something different. Now here, for example, technical questions, what APIs are available, first and foremost. You need to find out that. LinkedIn data access, what are the current limitations? Because ethical, right? We have to be ethical as well. Does LinkedIn allow it to do it? If it doesn't allow it, it will tell that we can't do it, etc., etc. Then it asks market questions. Things like how many professionals could benefit from this solution? Like, is there a market for this product? Are we just wasting our time otherwise? Back to, I think, Ben's, your point about like, what should we actually build? So he's doing kind of a bit of research around that. User experience, like what data privacy concerns might users have? Yeah, personalized and so on and so forth. It's asking those questions. Then there is information sources. So it's looked at Gartner. It's gone to Gartner. It's going to research Gartner. It's going to research McKinsey, Forrester, etc., etc. It's going to look at the academic journals here. There you see, and so on and so forth. Then it's going now and create going to collect some. So I may accept all of it, but it's still working on it, right? So it's going to take a while.
And just remark that you don't need to accept everything. For example, you can override these MD text files with your own thinking. You can add more agents. You can add more modes. For example, if you're in a regulated industry, you can add the compliance agent. You can add the financial, expert agent, or even accessibility. So you have agents for everything. You don't need to just use the default ones. And it's just a text file, editing a text file. That's how you do additional agents. You can copy paste an existing agent and then rewrite the characteristics and the tasks that you assign to that agent. So create it as a very organic, very personalized environment.
So we'll let it run. We'll let it run. Meanwhile, I think Rodrigo, why don't you do the same thing that I'm doing here, just to validate. Where yes, Oscar, please.
So sorry. When you're talking about adding additional agents, are you talking about building different agents as you are now, and then tying those agents into this, or can you build multiple agents within this build out here?
Within this, so you can, Mondeep, maybe you can show these are the,
okay.
This file.
Yeah. Vincent's background noise is coming through.
Yeah. So just to clarify, Oscar, just to make sure, because what I'm doing is slightly in between here. I'm not using like if I were to use VS Code, right, and then I have to I have to go to request T, as Ben said. This is how you start off. Then if you really want custom, like your own custom agents, you can define it here and then go through it. You can do the same thing, but it's a bit manual in Cursor. It's a bit manual. The only two agents that I really use in Cursor is the deep research mode, because it's like thinking first before you build anything. So deep research allows me to do the thinking first. I'm not building anything at the moment. I'm only thinking, right? Once I've done the thinking, in fact, I'll skip all of these modes. I'll just go straight to the default agent of Cursor and go and select Sonnet 4. That's enough for me, actually, for basic stuff, right? So you must remember that this has been a journey of iterations. So Cursor wasn't this sophisticated before. So, but if you're really a solid developer and you really want to build really custom specific things, you would generally you define your own modes here, and you would go something like requesty here, right? You'll go to root code. Root code is great for that. You will go to settings here. You will give your, like, you can define different configurations. I got lots of configurations here. You see, you can have thinking mode from Gemini. The thing is, if you set that thinking mode here, and you select Gemini and your API key, and you can basically, let me just show you something what I mean by that. So if I go to, so there are two things. One is the instruct models, and the other one is the reasoning models. Do we know, all of us, what is the difference between an instruct model and a reasoning model? Show of hands. No. Okay. So, Benz, do you want to talk about that? So I'm not monopolizing the conversation.
Yeah, sure. It is a little bit of learning needed here to understand the different providers. What are the pros and cons between Gemini, Claude, and OpenAI models? You can experiment. It depends on your tasks and on your sector, industry, what you are building. Many people say that Claude Sonnet is the one, and ignore the rest. Agentics Foundation, for example, last week said that no one comes close to Claude for Opus and Sonnet, but you are free to experiment. And if you go to the Requesty website, there are some additional information about models in a nice layout, just high level description. Many people are fan of Gemini Pro 2.5, very strong model, but we can't give you a specific set of rules that this is you have to use in this way. It's a common thing to plan with Gemini and O3 from OpenAI, and then switch to Claude Sonnet 4. That's a proven thing, but maybe DeepSeek will work for you better for your use case. No one can tell this, just yourself, by experimenting and reading about the benchmarks. Looking at benchmarks is also a little bit tricky because these are not very objective leaderboards, what you find online. So every provider says that they are the best, but the real objective leaderboards maybe don't exist.
So just to add to that, building on what Ben has said, I'm going to cover 2-3 things here together. So if it's a bit overwhelming, please let me know, right? What I was saying is that reasoning means we are reasoning. So the models are made basically think, right? So they're basically thinking through different lenses, which is what deep research is. I'm doing. I'm looking from different angles. That's reasoning. Instruct means if you know what you need to do, you ask the AI to just do that. So if once I've done the thinking, I can use a much less powerful model, like, even very less powerful model. And I say, just do it. What I mean. So you don't need, like here, for example, if you use Claude, Anthropic's Claude, they charge us like $3 per 1 million tokens, right? That's the input price. Yeah, it is capable of supporting images, computer usage. So you can actually do live testing. You can ask it to do testing. It'll take screenshots and do testing. But it does cache the prompts as well, which is why it's cheaper. But if I go back, if you watch the price here, right? It supports 64,000 token. If I go to Gemini Pro, which is also a thinking model, it supports. Have I gone to Gemini? Oh no, sorry. This is not updating. Oh no, it's okay now. The price has dropped. You see, so Gemini is a bit cheaper, but it's capable. 2.5 is pretty good actually. Pro. These are the prices. But if I change it to something much less, let's go to Flash, default Gemini Flash. You see the price is 10 cents per 1 million token now. It's an instruct model. it doesn't need to think. If you have already done the thinking, you can do the building with just a much less powerful model. That's one aspect. And here, RU is very good because you can have different profiles. I'll come to request in a moment, but let me just do this first. The bit that I wanted to share to you is, what did I start to mention to you? So we talked about thinking. We talked about this one. I forgot it. Apologies. I will move to requesting. Sorry, Sky, before I go to that, does it make sense? Any questions at this point?
No, not from my end.
Okay. So
you are free to buy Claude models from Anthropic directly, but it will be more expensive, but at least it won't be optimized. So maybe you get a better quality experience. I don't know much about this, but Requesty is heavily optimizing.
We are coming to that very timely on that, actually, Ben. So let me switch across. So go on, you describe what we are seeing here. Okay, I'll do it. Can you see the requested screen now?
Yes.
So, so if you see, I had chosen something called a profile called, sorry about that. I had selected a profile. I think I need to move my other screen from this side. So bear with me, please. Too many windows open. Apologies.
If someone could solve this with the software, you know, the too many windows.
Yeah,
and
I know. So I am going to reshare my screen. Hopefully it is visible again.
Yeah, we can see the.
Yeah, you can see my profile, right? This one.
Yeah.
So what I mean to say is that, you see, two things. One is I would also have a profile for Olama here, right? Which is here. This is my local laptop. And I think for those on the call, this is something you might want to consider in the university, especially, is create a small micro data center and basically install some of the open source models there and basically make them available. So that is something to do. Then you don't even need to go into commercial models. But Requesty, what they have done very well, they've implemented the caching, as I understand, much better, which means that if you see, I have not been using much of late, but they do a lot of sievings. So if I look at my previous usage, and I haven't used them for a while, which is why if I go back to 30 days, they do a lot of caching, which means that the cost of using these more complicated models, as Ben was saying, is cheaper if you use through a Requesty API token. So in my setup here, you see Requesty, I've got $25. I can just choose whatever model I want with just one API key from Requesty.
And usually you get an email as a Requesty customer every week from Thibault, who is one of the co-founders, and he tells you in an email, automated email, that what you have saved during that week working with Requesty. So it's very practical.
Okay, we can't see you, but it's this thing is still working. It's going to take a while. I might as well what do is short circuit this and end the research and show you how to go about with the build if it doesn't complete in the next 5 minutes. So we'll give it another 5 minutes, I guess. Meanwhile, any further questions from anyone?
No, the only one thing I wanted to maybe quiz on is when you referred to self-hosting, potentially on site or on personal devices. What are the pros and cons on that in your view?
We have our opinions, but I think apart from my trying it on my laptop, I really want to do it in a proper environment. There's something of, I think we'd be very keen on working with you to assess it, like getting some of the, I think assessing some of the models on our own and seeing whether that actually allows us to do generally what we are doing with basically remote models. But I don't have strong views either way, but I think it's something that I believe personally is local AI topic, right? I mean, what are others' views on this?
I heard some rumors about having a fallback local models, or in-house model when Anthropic has a problem. OpenAI, there was some 2 days outage of all the providers. So make sure that you can continue working. Always have a fallback to local models. The other one is security. If you have confidential information on IP, you don't want to have it leaked out. Maybe then use local models. The cons, what I heard is the cost. So if it's the GPU is spinning 24/7, then you get a much higher bill than using a commercial model. But there are solutions for that. Just spin up when there is a request, so you can save a lot on inference. And but there are these experts on this local model setup who specialize on building these. That's possible to speak with them, and the latency is insane. So if it's local, if it's inside the building, the GPU, then you get a much bigger speed, so you can save on time as well.
Yeah, I think the questions that are rising around this matter are around, obviously, apart from compliance and security being the main primary focus, secondary is the energy sustainability factor, right? For example, if a request has been made which the system had previously answered, because similar questions do get asked a lot of the system, especially if it's for a bespoke need, that it shouldn't need to run through the full cycle to answer because a previously answered question, which can potentially save on credit usage and requests. So there's a few questions around that.
I think there must be a working method for that, caching and saving recurring questions and returning problems, which is saved locally, and the system intelligently is not, sending the request to the US server, but just responds locally. Yeah, that's possible.
So what's on this, that it's taking a bit longer, so we might actually move on to the next step. It's very sequential. This is the earlier version. I think, as I said, with Cloud Code, it is much faster. But what I wanted to show you, it's a good basis to start. You see, we are actually searching for proper websites, like it's all happening automatically. So here for AI email management automation vacation mode systems 2024, it went to Zapier, it went to other websites here, snooze.ai. So it's basically doing a comprehensive search across the net. You can be more specific where you want it to search, but it's basically doing a very comprehensive search. Now it's given me a report to say, I have done this, and I've created this document, I've created this document. Obviously, it's not created the other ones, and it's saying key research findings are this. Anyways, I'm going to accept, and I'm going to tell him that, but you haven't completed the other rest of the structure. You are instructed to create the research in the structure, and I'm going to just go into this and copy paste it here, which is here. I'm going to say that one. This is the structure I wanted it to do, right? So I'm going to go there in this structure. I'm just going to say that. Now it'll realize that sometimes it forgets, as you can see.
It happens with me as well.
Model, and if you remind it, it will basically absolutely right, and it's gonna do it all. But I guess whilst this happens, we should also show you about Cloud Code and Cloud Flow. It will probably show the difference between the two. So I will attempt to show you exactly this one in a slightly different setup. So if I bear with me for a second, I think I'm going to start from scratch. So I will go and open a new window here, and I will say, and this is now I'm on VS Code here, and I will say open, and I will go here in here, and I will say new folder, Agentics 2.3, right? And I'm creating that there, and I'm saying open. I will do a little bit of organizing. Hopefully my laptop doesn't die. Remove that, view, appearance, secondary part. Oh, sorry, I have to click this button first before it works. View, appearance. I don't need the primary bar, but I do need the terminal. So I open that. I don't need this guy over here. I'm going to maximize this. I'm going to make it smaller. There we go. Right, we made it smaller here. So we'll let this load. It was never so slow, unfortunately. And I don't need this one. So I'm going to close this, let it load up properly. And once it does, I'm going to open, give me a second to open the commands that I should be running. So 1 second. I am at the same time going to go here and go up here and open the two links. So let me show you what I'm doing so it's obvious to you. All I'm doing is going into this document. I'm going to click on this particular link here. You see, I'm going to click on this link here. I'm going to open window here. You can. I won't show you the exact Claude code setup. Please follow the instructions in this document when you are doing, because I have already done that. So you basically have to just go and run this command, npm install Entropic Claude Code first, right? That's what.
Only the technical thing that the YouTube stream is not showing your screen somehow.
Really?
Yeah, Vincent just notified us.
Okay. Let me see what's going on. Yeah, it's a bit. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I will try. Don't know what's going on.
It shows the participants, but not your screen.
Could you ping me the link again, please?
Yeah, it's in the chat. The YouTube link in Teams chat.
Yeah.
The second one up.
Okay, let me try what's going on. Technology. I'm just logging into that now. Hopefully it allows me to do something. I can, oh, I see. So I think it's showing because it's not showing my, you're right. It's showing the wrong, oops, what's that?
There's a delay on that. So
Right.
it's a half a minute delay.
It should work now, I think. Hopefully. I mean, it does, because I was sharing the Teams window. So if I share the Teams window, it should be visible whatever I'm showing on my laptop, I believe. So instead of sharing my screen, I will be sharing the Teams window, because that's where whatever you see should be visible to everyone else. So I am doing that. I'm sharing the Teams window now. Please let me know what you see. So you are seeing the participants now, right?
I'm seeing you, just you, and now the.
I understand why this is happening. I am just going to change what I'm sharing then. I'm going to share the entire
just out of
screen.
curiosity, with the 1 minute delay, you won't see whatever you've changed live.
Okay, it will work now. It'll work. It'll work. It's working now. I can confirm. So we'll wait for you to confirm that it is working, and then yeah.
I'm seeing your VS Code now.
Too many windows. Okay. So that's got me out actually. Two different applications, Microsoft and YouTube here running. Where was I? I was at running the command. So I was about to show you what I was going to do here. So first and foremost, since cursor is running, we are going to do the same thing with Claude Code now. First step to do is to follow the instructions in Entropic site and install Claude Code, which I have obviously done. So I'm not going to repeat that. And that is, I'll verify now. If I go here, oops, what's going on here? I have no idea. So I'm going to kill this terminal, and I'm going to open a terminal, a new terminal. Okay. I'll let it load up. It's unusually slow. We'll see what's going on the other side first. So here it's still researching. As you can see, what has it created?
And you use a color scheme for understanding which app you are in, right? On the
Yeah.
So the the violet is cursor, so it's less cognitive burden on you.
Sorry. Roof used to say that the demo gods are not smiling, but it's happening to me today. We have some background noise.
It's gone.
Yeah, I mean, yes, for the first time I'm seeing demo gods are not smiling on me today for a live demo. It's kind of completely stuck.
No, don't worry, that's fine.
Let me try to close and reopen. Maybe that'll be the trick. File, open folder. And we go to just use it here. I'm not going to bother anywhere else. But, okay, fine. Now, if the terminal decides to load up at all,
You've got the terminal down.
yeah, but the cursor is not working. I can't. If it doesn't work for me, maybe Benz, you could do that.
Can you try the plus on the top right corner?
I did. It's just I've got both, but none of them are actually loading up here.
Interesting.
Could you try that, and I can probably talk you through that?
Yeah.
You can show that. Maybe show cloud code. I'll stop sharing. But how do I will have to share what you are sharing, so I'll change the stream on YouTube.
And but can we do a trial running Cloud Code in somehow in a different way in Cursor or in Terminal?
We can do that. Yeah, why not? I'm just thinking how best to do that.
Because then we lose the live stream totally.
Okay, 1 second. Right, I'm going to take a 1 minute quiet break just to see what's going wrong, and so I'll be if I hope to set this up by that time. Otherwise, we'll probably have to record this and share separately.
It seems to be working now.
Yes, it seems to be working actually now. So I'm going to just share the live stream again, and we'll kick it off. Okay, there we go. So we'll give it one more time. So if I type Claude here, which you can see, I expect to hear back. Do you see the change? So I have got basically Claude code installed on me. I've done it before. So yeah, that's what it is. So I'm just saying, okay, if I say yes, right, if I press enter, nothing's happening.
You give access to that directory.
Yeah. So it's extremely slow. Something has gone wrong on my laptop. So Benz, I have to excuse myself here. Maybe if you could kindly demonstrate this.
Yeah, and do you know how to share it on YouTube?
I will manage that. If you share, I will manage it from here.
Right. Okay, sharing my entire screen now.
Yeah, it's actually worked now. It's slow, but it's working. Let me give one more try here.
This is the welcome screen of Cloud Code. So it tells you, she tells you what are the possibilities in 4.0.
It's working. So let me try to continue. I am going to do a similarly requirements. All I'm going to do is go back to my cursor here. I'm going to my, shall I say, the initial requirements here, and copy the whole thing, come back to here, and I'm just pasting it here, right? There we go. Okay, so I'm going to say, next I'm going to do is slow, so please bear with me. I'm going to go here and I'm going to say copy a command, which is effectively this one here, npx cloud flow. So cloud flow is a package. So I'm going to set up a new terminal here. All I'm doing is copy pasting this command here. When I'm doing this, you'll see on the right hand side a few things happen on the Explorer. Hopefully my laptop CPU holds up. So let's give it a few seconds.
And if you know anybody who wants to try out and has the same problem as Mondwi, you can go to Codespaces and use a cloud setup and do the same on GitHub. You open a new repo and you click on Codespaces, and you will have the same visually the same environment, but you are not doing it on your own machine, but you are doing it in the cloud.
So you see here, right, this thing that has happened. So you've got a lot of settings which have come about. Settings are about how much time for timeouts, because this is parallel processing. What you saw previously in Cursor, is obviously taking such a long time. It never has taken me this long before. So something is definitely not right. And it's going in a loop from what I can see. This is sequential. What you will see here is parallel processing. And right, default timeouts, there are lots of things about settings. So read the documentation. It's very, very detailed over here. If you read it, I don't need to repeat it, right? So it's just have a proper read of this. But I'm going to show this to you in execution. What I'm going to do here is it's the same room was that you had before. Oh, wait, this is something we didn't mention. For room modes and modes, think of the orchestrator as the project manager, right? So basically, this orchestrator manages everyone else, the coder, the researcher, TDD, etc. So this is kind of a project manager. That's how it operates. Now, in here, if we go to, we have the requirements here, right? So what I want to show you is this one. If I go back here, actually, I'll cheat the system a bit. I will say here in this terminal, and it doesn't even type. Use Cloud Flow to research the requirements, right? Apply deep research and provide me output in the format. Let us get there. Let me come here. Probably I'm hoping there's a deep research mode here. Actually, I don't even need that because it's specified here. So deep research, yeah, it is there. It's there. So if I go here, well, I'll keep it simple. You know what? Let's just we are only showing you here. It's so slow. Oops. Let's see what happens. I apologize. This is a bit disappointing. This is so slow.
Okay. Are you running Teams as a native app?
Yeah, maybe that's the problem.
That's the problem, because these Microsoft products on Mac, they use the 100% CPU.
I can try and exit and rejoin probably from browser if required. To a deep research requirements in requirements.text.md5 and provide me with the output in a systematic way. I'm just asking it just as a given time. Look, it's not perfect, right? I'm just issuing it because I just want to show you. So it's definitely not perfect. So there we go. So what is happening here is that you can see that it's doing a lot of research. It's using the task tool to perform a deep research analysis of the requirements, and it'll provide me a systematic output. Mind you, this can, I have a subscription for Claude Pro, which is like around £17 or something like that. So there are limits. I don't know whether my limits are enough. However, for most purposes, it works. It is meant to be unlimited because those limits reset themselves after, I think, a few hours.
I think 5, yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to take a sense check. I know this is not going to plan per se today. However, I wanted to take a sense check with the audience here. Is that is it kind of helpful? I mean, are you getting something new, or we are confusing you further? Please be honest.
I am learning new things from here. One thing I'm still slightly unclear, and I don't know if I've got the right assumption, is what Sparks itself is, and how that ties in, right? Because do we need Sparks to be able to create the bots in question? What does the Sparks element do more than anything? Is the one thing I'm slightly unclear on still.
Sure. So to explain that, if I go to this particular area, what Spark is basically, it's an agentic toolkit, right? It basically helps us build software by a structured methodology. So if you see here, it integrates lots of capable tooling like Roo code and the capabilities. So basically structured, modular, security by design, comprehensive testing. So what it does is that test-driven development is the essential. So you basically write tests first for any features and then build. So it's very kind of one step at a time kind of thing. There is other information, but what I want to get through is this is all implementation information. This is important. So if you think about it, you're writing a specification. So the reason I asked for the requirements first, or we copy pasted from the hackathon document, is that that's our specification. That specification could even be a transcript, like a meeting transcript, like we're discussing, like this meeting, if we are recording it, if you have the transcript, that itself is specifications of what is going on in our minds, right? And then you give it to the AI to say, you know what, we've been thinking lots of things. Can you look through it and create some pseudo code to make sense of it and do something meaningful with it? And then once it has written a pseudocode, then okay, we got a pseudocode. We broadly know we need to bit 4 or 5 things, but can you create an architecture? Look through the best architectural patterns, TOGAFs of the world. Look at solution architecture using AWS. It will figure it out. It will come with recommended architectural style, and then it will do a level of refinement. Like it will say, okay, there are lots of options available, but I recommend you do this, and here's the executive summary, which is where this thing is working towards. You see it's very, very slow, right? But 2 more files have been created here, if you can see here, beyond the information sources, primary, secondary. It'll complete this. When it's completed, you will see the structure about what I'm talking about. And then basically that's what happens. And the modes that are there is the orchestrator, which is basically kind of the project manager. So what do I mean by that? Is if I go down here and into Roo code here, if I go down to, and that is still not even loading here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, it comes with 4 default because I have not yet. Okay, I can show you. Look at the @.roo modes file and use those right. If I do that command, what you're gonna see here very quickly is I'm now using my API. By the way, I'm using my this $25 that I have got. I'm using that now. And when I ask that, you see what's going to happen here is doing a checkpoint. You'll see shortly this change. Let's wait for that to change because it's anyway slow. I'll go back here to answer your question. But that's what it is. It's basically a structured methodology for software development. Oscar, does that help, or any further questions?
No, it does. Definitely. I mean, it was, as you can imagine, working with some of the young innovators and trying to motivate people to come and play and learn, which is the best way, and that I think we both agree on, is trying to highlight to them what Spark does for them. So one is being able to explain what it is and how it helps. So that helped me a lot on that. But it's not the one-stop shop for the tool, right? There's other tools and other plugins or other subscriptions required to really make use of it. This just adds a structure approach to actually help you achieve your aim. It expedites you achieving your aim more than anything. It's not just the one tool. That's the one bit I think I needed clarity on.
the best analogy for that is, this is basically how you want to work. So this, what it is saying, this is kind of the, like, we're familiar with agile scrum, basically it's agile ways of working. You got a refinement, you got a planning meeting, you got daily scrums, you got shows and tells, and that's like a ceremony, right? Those are the ceremonies we do generally to build product solutions, etc. Or there's a waterfall way. You write requirements, design, build, test, etc. Post-production. Think of this as an approach for AI. So you're telling AI, I want you to work in this way. That's what you're telling AI. But AI has to work. You have to use the AI. The way to invoke AI is by one of the AI providers. And AI providers could be people like Anthropic, could be Gemini, could be Olama. You host it on your local, basically, data center, right? It could be them. So that's what the two aspects of it are. So in case of questions, yes, you just need an enablement for the doing. That's where you need an API key, for example, or a subscription like Claude, Anthropic Claude, which is what we are doing over here. Oh, something has happened here. So let's look what has happened. If I close this one now, you see it has actually done something here. It actually did some deep research. I just don't know why it hasn't. Has it created something? Okay. What is it? Let's read. Here's a systematic background. Okay. It's doing something. Okay. Foundation. Okay. So it's given a plan to me. Like, you know what? You can. So let's read it. Let's read it properly. It's saying, okay, AI agent to solve single well-defined problems. Okay. Okay, fine. It's given some examples, which is exactly from what we had. It's a bit less in detail, to be honest. It's come up with some technical requirements. It's given some architectures, etc., etc. Okay, use a swarm of 2 agents to build one of the applications. Let's focus on the foundation first. All right, let's see what comes out of it. So it's now creating a couple of agents. I just specified use 2 agents. It'll create 2 agents to build the meeting prep application. It'll focus on the foundation phase, right? It is deploying them to work on different aspects simultaneously. So the to-dos you see is that agent 1 to build the core backend infrastructure and calendar integrations. Agent 2 is going to create user interface and notification systems, right? So it just kind of, and it's happening. I mean, I'm still learning Claude Flow properly, so I'm not. I'm also kind of beginning into it. If you really want to know more about it, please. We had a proper session yesterday. In fact, I can share you the link for you to have a look into actually what is going on.
I'd love that. I'm very intrigued by the potential use case of the Spark approach, which I think is absolutely beautiful. So I'm looking forward to implementing that. And one thing that caught my interest, I wonder if it may be convenient to us now, I'm happy to pick this up later or offline, is how you referred to, for example, being able to build out based on the outcome of a meeting transcription or a very clear breakdown of your scope and intent. So that's very interesting to me. And the idea that, for example, we could build out based on the outcome of, let's say, a said meeting transcription, only to have a follow-up meeting in due course to come back with the updated transcription saying, now take the following into account, and potentially keep improving and revising this agent to be more bespoke. Would that be right in that assumption?
Sorry. Vince, do you want to take that, because I missed some of that, if you have heard it, or if you can.
I'm sorry, I was replying to someone on the chat about models.
Okay.
Sorry, Oscar. Yeah.
No, it's okay. Can we keep updating the agent? If I build an agent now based on the meeting we have of an idea, that we wish to achieve for an AI. We have a meeting on it. We take the transcript from that meeting into the system, dump it in, build out based on it, following all the instructions and sequence, only to have follow-up meetings thereafter where the refinement points are discussed and bring that transcript in and give it to improve itself, to be more bespoke. Is that feasible?
Yeah, feasible. You can always have new. You can always spin up new agents, sub-agents. You can create. You imagine like a human workforce. How you would organize.
I'm imagining we could have a meeting based on everything we're happy with and anything we need improvements on, and only either bring those improvement requests and build a new agent and tell it to check in with the previous agent to update itself.
That's what
so yeah, these are the things
automatically here, Oscar. Basically, what happens? This is there are two agents working in conjunction. They have a memory file here, so I think it's one of the files here. If you look at the documentation, it's a common shared memory, right? So effectively, we could have 10 agents working together on this one to build these applications. In fact, I have shared the link, the Loom link, on the chat. Please, if you're interested in this, look at that. It's mind-boggling what Roof showed yesterday, right? So have a look at what was shown yesterday. In fact, today we have our hacker session. I think we might actually go further in at 5 p.m. But what you are seeing here, if I were even to just see the simplistic thing that I'm doing, you see, okay, it's still asking me for permission. So it's still working, actually. You see a lot of these green and reds are happening here, right? They're code being written automatically. That's what is happening. So it's going to go through this whole process of like agent 1 is creating the package.json file, is setting up the server.js entry points with express configuration. It's going to create configure directory environment and API configuration, Google Calendar OAuth authentication. It's going to do it all on its own. Right? I want to cross-check that because agents could be perceived as two different ways. One is like I'm using agents to build something. So I'm having agents building something. When you say if I have an agent, do you mean actually from an operational point of view, like one agent is doing something like a workflow, handing over to another agent? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I mean, we're still building out and we've got various clients requests for different things and research aspects. So one is trying to understand its full remit and its boundaries is one aspect that I'm trying to fulfill right now, understanding boundaries that we can operate through the Spark approach. But mainly it is either going to be a live agent that's constantly on standby for any user to engage in, find out what they need. And second is potentially a reactive agent who can scan what's been asked, what's been completed and done, and then start prepping potentially more bespoke agents to fulfill those requests.
Okay.
But I'll reach out to you in regards to what we're working on in more detail.
I guess the key is the memory, as Monvip said, and context limit. And if everything is logged, and we force these agents to document everything, then it should be fine. I mean, not 100%, of course, because they might skip, but you can keep track of every individual agent, what they have been done, and what is upcoming. A question to Monvip that how do you find the difference between the factory cloud code and the flow addition? What are the pros or the subjective opinion?
Thank you.
So is there a question for me, Benz? From what I have heard, and I'm still exploring myself, this one is like Cloud Code on its own is very powerful, but it has limitation like the Cloud memory file. I think it seems to forget. It doesn't always remember, which is why I think Cloud Flow, which is basically agentic approach, that seems to have really complemented Cloud Flow. So I would suggest actually explore both, learn both. But I think from what I understand, Cloud Flow is have a look at the video that I've shared. You'll get the idea.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I apologize, guys. My laptop is completely given up. It's gone white now, completely. So I'm going to pause here. Benz, if you got something to show, but I guess that's from me now, because even my cursor, it's stuck. Something is wrong. I may have to restart my whole laptop. So yeah.
We might have to wrap up here because I need to log into another meeting in 10-12 minutes. In the next 10 minutes, if anybody has questions, or Rodrigo can say if you want to approach your problem, your previous problem in a different way now.
I think Mehmet's got a question there.
Yeah, if you can all hear me, it's been very insightful and very interesting what we've been talking about. Well, what you guys have been talking about, I've just been listening. I think my main concern would be integration. Okay, so for example, I'm going to share a quick link of a WordPress plugin, because we work with a lot of WordPress sites as well. Let's face it, there's a lot of people using WordPress still. Okay, so I've just sent a link in the notes here. I'd love for something like what they're showing and what they've got, what integrates with WordPress. It's great. This is great, but it's missing quite a few functions like what you guys have been talking about. I think that would literally help us with what we're building.
Is it open source? Fork it and add some stuff.
Not that I know of. No, I haven't looked into it, to be honest. I've only just used it on WordPress sites, and then we've just connected it to different AIs. Like I said, it's got quite a lot of good functions, but the missing bits are what you guys have been talking about, and that's where
probably you could build this yourself with Claude Code or with other methods, with Roo and Spark. So you copy paste the description and the features and plan the PRD documents that, hey, I want these features. How would you plan? How would you build it? Implementation plan, feature by feature, not all at the same time, maybe. But obviously, I would test the WordPress plugin build quality first in a isolated setting. That is the language model capable of WordPress plugin, because it's an old technology. Maybe it's not part of the training data. So that's how I would approach, and then give it a go. Like build me a Copilot or an AI Forms feature, and then I would add in step by step all the features what they have. That's one approach. If this is a closed software, then we can't see. And there are some, I can't remember now, but people were speaking about PHP development with language models. It's possible, but you need to tackle the incredible length of these, so it won't fit in the memory. So you need to do some optimization, some chunking, and but people can solve it in the past.
Well, that's great.
So on this point, I think if you look at, I think I'm just going to cross-check that I'm sharing. Are you see? I think I brought up the.
No, we got a black screen.
Right?
We've got a black screen, yeah.
It's still the same problem. Right. Yeah. So I'll read it from it then, because I think it doesn't allow me to share for whatever reason. I'll try one final time, and then I'll attempt a response to that question. If it at all works, one final time, click that. Let me know if it's anything different from a black screen this time.
No.
No, okay, then I'll just read. So this AI engine, right? This purpose, as I read it, is to seamlessly connect WordPress with the world of AI. What that means is, if we scroll down to the very bottom, it uses the right terms like model management. So you can effectively bring your own model to WordPress.
On YouTube. I can see it on YouTube anyway.
Okay. So you basically can bring your own model to WordPress, which is great, which is good actually, which is similar to what we have demonstrated to you, but we were actually building things. But this is more from a user's point of view, like content creation, right? So this is like from content creation. Actually, this is good. You can actually interact, and the fact I like about it is MCP. So what this means is that you could therefore use this tool to connect WordPress to other servers. Like, what do I mean? When I do project management now, we use Monday.com, right? And Monday.com has an MCP server. I actually have the Cloud Desktop, and I've configured a JSON file for Cloud Desktop and added the Monday.com's MCP file. So now I'm talking to my project plan, right? So you say, okay, this project on this board, summarize it for me, and I get a lovely, basically Gantt chart. That's what this chatbot would do if you have MCP integration. So this is very good as well. So obviously you got AI forms, which means they can handle perfect for advanced support tickets, creative prompts, and user submissions. So which is good. It's good actually. It's very good. So
like I said, it's really good, and it ticks a lot of the boxes. But there's these extra little things which just makes it special for what we're trying to do, unless we're trying to overcomplicate it. But yeah, no, it really is good. Like I said,
what is the extra bit that you are trying to do?
Oscar, do you want to elaborate on that? I mean, I don't know how deep
you started it, mate. You started it. What can you share without an NDA is the question, right?
Yeah.
I think the main concept he's thinking here is something similar to what you said, Mandeep. If there is a fact file, there is files, process, procedures of data that's available, and the right keys are issued to the right individuals, they engage with the AI to be able to access anything at their remit allows them to access. And if there's ever an update or an infill of new information, it can be filtered through to those people as one of the basic sections that need to be covered there. But the idea that anybody could have access to the AI agent in question and be fully kept up to date is the general theme of the issue.
Yeah, so I think if you would just mean onboarding access, I mean, those are problems that you can solve. I mean, they're not different. But what is useful is the concept of agentic web. Agentic web is basically where humans now are going to webs and checking, right? But if I don't want to do that, I want my agents to talk to agents on your website. So, and MCP allows effectively content on a website to be visible to other agents who belong to another company, right? So that's something to be borne in mind. I think Ru has written about this one, and we may have had sessions on this before, on the whole agentic web point. But if this is open source, if AI engine is open source, if they publish, you could, as Ben says, fork their code base. You can apply what we showed you today to try and kind of create additional features around it.
No, that sports. As soon as you mentioned that, I'm going to look into that. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. On that note, given that it's 4 minutes to 3, thank you all for your time. Unless there are any final questions.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome. Cheers. Bye-bye.
One
thing, if you want to follow through, just go to agentics.org, take a membership. There are live coding sessions on Thursday and Friday. There's a hackerspace where you can basically lots of from the Americas and the UK. There are a lot of shows and tells happening.
Excellent.
Thanks so much.
Much appreciated. Have a great weekend, guys.
Yeah.
Great weekend, guys. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.